So a brand new game just came out a couple of days ago that all the cool people are playing right now. It's called Marvel. It's kind of reminiscent of the board game Smash Up if you played that. You have 3 locations each game with all sorts of wonky powers and they are different every game. And if you win 2 or more of them, you win the match. The matches are super quick. 3 to 5 minutes tops, I think. And your decks are only 12 cards, and on average you'll see 6 to 10 of them every match, so the variance in terms of what you bring to the match, super low. In terms of what you'll get during the match because of the locations, rather high. But the games are very quick. This video is not sponsored, by the way, but hey, it could be. Ben Broad? Give me a call. But the real linchpin of the design of Marvel is this goddamn little cube boy. Because ranking in Marvel is cubes. If you win at the end of the game, if you win the match, you get 2 cubes. Your opponent, of course, loses the same amount. It's a zero-sum game. But if you surrender a bit earlier, say turn 4 or turn 5, you only lose 1 cube. Now, in most games that would incentivize surrendering a lot, but here the games are very quick, so you always think, well, I'm not really losing much by playing the remainder of the game, and I can always surrender turn 5. In most games like Magic or Gwent, surrendering sort of saves your dignity, and maybe saves you 15 minutes of not having fun if you drew all lands or bricked your hand or something. But here, you can decide to cut your losses on a meta level by clicking that red retreat button. Because, once again, cubes are ratings, so if you utilize that button effectively, you will be losing less cubes and climbing ranks more easily as a result than a player who doesn't. But bear in mind that I didn't call the retreat button a linchpin of design in Marvel. I said so about the cube. And the cube is the exact opposite. You can tap it at any point during the match in a process called... If you do, the number of cubes that the winning player wins and the losing player loses will double. You can do it once, your opponent can also do it once, so the maximum number of cubes at stake is 8 at the end of the match. So it's a double or nothing mechanic in a card game, something unheard of since poker, I think. Should one of the players decide to... It only goes into action if the other player plays at least 1 card afterwards, but should they decide to retreat, however, they will only lose the number of cubes, so 1 instead of 2, 2 instead of 4, or 4 instead of 8. So strategically, this adds another layer of complexity because you can use it to psych people out. If you're currently winning but you have no endgame bombs in hand but your tempo is on point, you can just try to bully the opponent out of the match. But should they call your bluff, just be prepared to lose big. Psychologically, it's genius, because you are setting the stakes of the match yourself, and as a result you instantly become more involved in it. If I think the match is going well and my opponent decides to... Oh boy, I immediately want to show them what an absolute dumbass they are. And if I decide to... It's a win-win situation. If they accept, I am going to absolutely ruin them come turn 6. And if they don't, yeah, you better run, you chicken, you coward. And if you... and the opponent also... then ooh, it's on. You will teach them not to be so sure of themselves. The morons. In that way, it kind of reminds me of another game I love, Teamfight Tactics, and without going too much in depth on what that game is, an important skill in it, because it's a 8-player free-for-all, is to judge how favorable your RNG has been compared to the rest of the lobby, the rest of the players, and deciding, strategically, whether to play for first place, play greedy, or maybe play for 4th place, or not last place. And in that regard, the same strategic component is present here. You also have to decide whether you want to win big or lose small. But at the same time, there is another layer of complexity added, because TFT is a game of perfect information and Marvel is not. So you can also bluff, and that's amazing. Psychologically, it's great, because many card game mechanics are sort of built around the core of playing cards to make playing cards more fun, and this one does just that. because it creates so many variable lose and win states. Losing big, losing small, winning big, winning small. You have much more control over the scale of your loss or your win, and that really makes you feel smart. If you decide to retreat, you are technically losing, but you're losing in a way that makes you feel smart. And frankly, so many mechanics in card games are built around this process, making the player feel smart. And if you'd want to make me feel smart, make sure to check out the other card game videos on the channel and maybe give that subscribe button a gentle tap. I respond very well to that kind of motivation. Now, on a bit of a cautionary note, this sort of mechanic is not going to go great in every card game. Because the games in Marvel are so short, the end is always somewhat in sight. So the decisions to go double or nothing or to retreat are always made with some degree of idea what's going to happen next. Now, if it was present in a longer game like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh!, if I played 6 rounds of Magic, I don't really want to surrender, even if I was mechanically incentivized to do so, because A, I just lost 15 minutes if my only motivation is to maximize rating, or B, the match was fun even though I'm losing and I want to play the remainder of it. You know, the sunk cost fallacy kicks in and all that sort of stuff, so I really don't think that it should be implemented in more games, but I'm glad Marvel did so, because it's amazing. Thanks a lot for watching, I hope to see you in the next one, and hey, go play Marvel!